Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, whatever the case may be. I am the Wizard Man, and in this video I am going to review the 1931 classic Frankenstein, starring Boris Karloff, Colin Clive, Edward Van Sloan, and directed by James Whale. I'm quite sure you're familiar with the story of Frankenstein. In a nutshell, a man creates life, and that creation turns on him. Now, in this movie, some of the setting is not that realistic. And I'm thinking of the graveyard, the opening scene of the graveyard, but it works. The setting, while you know it's not realistic, it still looks good, it still works, it still adds to the atmosphere of the movie. It still gives it a gothic, creepy atmosphere. The makeup for the Frankenstein monster is iconic, stood the test of time. I mean, if you were to ask any number of random people this picture, who is this? They would say Frankenstein or Frankenstein's monster. And you really have to appreciate the achievement of the makeup artist Jack Pierce in creating this makeup. I mean, this makeup, it's not too much and it's not too little. It's enough to scare you, give you a creepy vibe to it, but it allowed the actor Boris Karloff to be able to show facial expressions and to show emotions. Definitely, can't have a Frankenstein review without talking about the makeup. Speaking of Karloff, here's a photo of him kind of clowning around on the set of Son of Frankenstein. Now, Boris Karloff gives an Oscar-worthy performance in the movie Frankenstein. It must have been brutal, wearing this heavy makeup. He had some heavy boots, a heavily padded costume, walking around for hours on end. I mean, I can't even imagine what he went through with this. He shows a range of emotions. He shows anger, he shows sadness. There's some scene where the Frankenstein monster is scared. He shows fear. And it's just really cool that you're able to have a monster you're supposed to fear it, and it is scary, and the characters are scared of it, but at the same time you can sympathize with the monster and what the monster is going through. The other acting in the movie overall is good. The ending of it, I'm not going to give it away, but the ending is good. It's a solid ending. As for flaws of the movie, there's really not many. I mean, I would get into nitpicking territory. Like I said, the graveyard, some of the setting is kind of dated, but it still works. It still adds to the film. It still adds to the atmosphere. The movie is paced really well. It's only a little over an hour long. There's not any filler in there. It just tells a story, and that's one of the things that I appreciate with a lot of these Universal monster movies is they just tell the story, and you can move on. It may not scare modern audiences, but it definitely will entertain. I definitely recommend seeing this movie if you haven't. As far as a rating, I don't do this often, but I'm going to go 10 out of 10. Please give this video a thumbs up. I have a playlist on my channel if you're interested in more old school horror movie reviews. Thank you very much for watching, and have a good whatever time of day it is.